Hello. I'm here doing a podcast with my friend Ethan, and I've researched the JFK assassination because it's one of the most controversial points in history, I think. There's probably more. Anyways, one of the most talked about with different theories and stuff. I've researched enough stuff, so I have my own theory on it, and I'll just get into what happened allegedly, and then my theory, and then about debunking other theories, like why I don't think the other ones work. So, anyways, what is said to have happened is on November 22nd, 1963, JFK was riding through a parade when 3 shots were fired by Lee Harvey Oswald. The first skipped on the ground, hitting a bystander. The second shot hit JFK in the neck, then went into John Connally's chest, who was sitting in front of him, and then into Connally's knee and came out a perfectly intact bullet. Connally was sitting in front of JFK. Oh, I said that already. Sorry. Anyways, third shot came and hit JFK in the back of the head, killing him. Later discovered that Oswald had communist connections, so everyone was just convinced that, he was the one behind it because communism. Now, I'm going to explain why that's wrong. So James Teague was a bystander shot. He was the bystander shot for the first shot. He didn't have much interest in the parade, but he stopped and turned when he heard a gunshot, then was hit in the cheek from the bullet skipping off the ground, which wouldn't make sense if it was the first shot, which is what is said. He was hit with the first shot. But that doesn't make sense, because how would he have time to stop, turn around, and get hit with the bullet that he heard fired? Doesn't really add up to me. Anyways, where was I? But it would make sense if it was another shot rang out. Possibly if he was hit with a second, third, or some other kind of shot. Not the first one, though. The government sticks with 3 shots only because there's only 3 casings found where Oswald was positioned. Plus, John Connally and his wife have actually both said that the bullet that hit him in JFK's neck, which is allegedly the second shot, he says those are 2 different shots. He was in the government. Yep, he was the governor, I believe. Sorry. I might be wrong on that. I'm pretty sure, though. What makes more sense is there was 2 different shooters. Also, Oswald had a bolt-action rifle, which makes it almost impossible for Kennedy's killing shot to come as quickly after it did after Connally's shot. Not enough time to rechamber and fire after. I mean, you got to, open it up, and then put another one in from wherever you have it, and then, re-aim and fire. I don't know. To me, it doesn't really feel like that works. Which, once again, makes sense if there's 2 shooters. Now there's a famous film that recorded the whole thing called the Zapruder film, which shows the assassination. However, there's actually a second film from the other side of the street, and everyone who's seen this film has said that they can see puffs of smoke coming from the grassy knoll, which is from the direction where Kennedy was driving. It's coming from that way. These puffs of smoke are perfectly in time with shots fired at the parade. Well, what second film? Why has no one talked about this? Probably wondering. Well, in 1976, a whole 13 years after it happened, I think 13. Yeah. Anyways, a group was formed called the House Select Committee of Assassinations, or I'll just call them the HSCA. This group was formed 13 years after the assassination. Yeah, okay. Because it came out that the CIA was purposely hiding information on the assassination. Shows right there, something's up. Anyways, plus, after the investigation was over, the HSCA had a trial for the CIA members that allowed the information to go missing. Unlike why it went missing, essentially. Now, using audiograph equipment, they analyzed the Zapruder film and picked up there was actually 6 shots fired. Now, the day after the new footage was used to determine there was a second shooter, all the footage and everything just up and disappeared from the CIA lockup where it was. And the CIA claimed someone must have stolen it. They just broke in and stolen it and got away. I don't know how or, why, whatever, but apparently that's what happened. I don't know. That's what the CIA is claiming.
Definitely.
Exactly. Reminds me, a few years ago, but CIA said they interviewed themselves and made sure and realized that there's no conspiracies going on within the CIA.
Interviewed themselves?
They checked themselves and realized there's nothing shady going on in the CIA.
That makes no sense.
Why would... What? Yeah, that's a report from the CIA. They checked. There's nothing shady going on with us. Just not tell us. Like, that's a thing. Anyways, the HSCA did release a statement after their research saying, quote, "The committee believes on the basis of evidence available to it that President John F. Kennedy was probably assassinated as the result of a conspiracy. The committee is unable to identify the other gunman or the extent of the conspiracy." End quote. That's an actual quote from the U.S. government. Well, not, but a committee formed under the U.S. government.
That there was probably a second shooter.
Yeah. That's, yeah. So, obviously, I believe the CIA had something to do with it. But why the CIA? Well, JFK was a supporter of the CIA until a failed invasion of Cuba called the Bay of Pigs, which took place after JFK supposedly, the Bay of Pigs is like a failed Cuba invasion. I said that in my notes already, but that's kind of the brief extent of it. I don't want to get into that, but he said, quote, "If it were up to me, I would take the CIA, break them into 1,000 pieces, and throw them in the wind," end quote. Clearly the CIA is not going to like that. So, essentially, I believe the CIA wanted to get rid of him before he got rid of them. Plus, before the assassination, in an interview, JFK said there were scary things happening in U.S. politics and secret societies planning to take over the democracy and government systems. Maybe the CIA?
Probably.
Yeah, I'm sure. Or someone else, I don't know. At least them. Plus, the CIA's handling over the whole parade was pretty bad, saying they would drive around... JFK would drive around an estimated 20,000 open windows. And that was a lot, so they just shouldn't check them. That's a lot of work for us. We just won't check to see if there's anything troubling there, that could cause an assassination. Okay. Whatever, Also, Greer and O'Connery were the 2 CIA agents in front of the car. They're the ones driving, and the passenger. There was 3 rows to it. They were in the front. In the middle was Connolly and his wife. Then the way back was JFK and his wife. Just to clarify. Anyways, sorry, where's my notes? So they're in the front of the car. Once the first shot came out, Greer, the driver, brought the car down to a whopping 7 miles an hour speed instead of driving off. Then he and O'Connery hunched forward and out and lifted their shoulders up. In fact, after it all happened, Jackie Kennedy said the agents were acting very oddly during the attack. Now, there's kind of a person that some people believe might be a part of it, which I think he was. Anyways, this guy called the Umbrella Man, who is someone that can be seen in the Zapruder film holding an umbrella on a sunny day, mind you, standing directly in front of the position Lee Harvey was in front of as JFK passes him. He lifts his umbrella, and immediately the first shot goes out. Sure seems like he's signaling to somebody to fire. After JFK has been killed, while everyone's freaking out, as one does, the umbrella man just puts his umbrella away and sits on the curb. Now, while the HSCA was investigating, the CIA brought in a man wearing a suit, holding an umbrella, and the judge didn't think to double check or anything. Just, oh, here's the umbrella man. He has an umbrella, see? What? Maybe it was, I don't know. That was pretty weird. But also, in 1966, the JFK autopsy was to be examined, and his brain was missing for some reason. They don't know where his brain is, allegedly. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but I feel that's worth mentioning, because how are you going to miss a brain? You know, plus, actually, I didn't write this down in my notes, but after he was killed, Jackie Kennedy kind of freaked out and, you know, went into shock as one does, and, like, grabbed his brain, like, tried to put it back into him or something, because, you know, she's in shock, just freaking out, basically. So it was clearly put back into him, and it just disappears. I don't know what that has to do with anything, like I said, but thought it's worth bringing up. Also, the official commission that took place after JFK was killed that determined Lee Harvey acted alone was made up of almost entirely CIA members, and they were later discovered to withhold some information on this. Now, there's a common theory that the mob was, you know, responsible by it, because, well, they're the mob. They're not going to like the president, you know. But if that's the case, why would you bother covering any of it up? Like, that's clearly been done here, you know. What's the point? Well, probably wasn't the mob, because you just say, oh, it was the mob, you know. And another theory is that Jack Ruby, the man who killed Lee Harvey Oswald, had a deal made with the mob to clear his debts. Okay, well, I'm sure the CIA would do the same thing, you know. They're shady. They could clear debts and stuff. Let's see. Another theory is that Russia did it. Well, if they did, they wouldn't get someone like Lee Harvey Oswald to do it, because he had ties to communism. So that's just like a no-brainer. You're not going to get someone connected to communism if you're communism, because you can just put two and two together, you know.
If you're communism, I like that.
If you're communism, yeah. Plus, once again, the CIA wouldn't need to cover it up, just like the same thing with the mafia. So that's my whole thoughts on the JFK thing. What do you think?
It all seems pretty, like, it's just sort of suspicious, all of it. Like, everything you've said, just, it all makes sense.
Yeah. Also, I think it's worth, I didn't have my notes, but there's a mysterious babushka lady. Maybe you've heard about it. I don't know. You heard about the babushka lady?
No, only the Umbrella Man.
Okay. So the babushka lady is kind of similar. It was just this lady in a babushka, and she didn't freak out when the assassination happened. She just kind of, I don't remember what she did. Sorry. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. I could be wrong. I don't think she is a part of it, though. But, like, same kind of thing like with the Umbrella Man almost. Like, if he just sat down on the curb and didn't hold his umbrella up in the air as the shots went out, yeah, I'd say that's just weird, you know, sitting on the curb when no one's freaking out.
There's some kind of connection between the Umbrella and Lee Harvey Oswald, if he was the shooter.
I'm sure, yeah.
Did all the bolts come from the same spot, like all the same direction?
No.
I don't think they did, right?
Well, no, because like I said, with because there's two in the first film, or I guess second, they got erased. There was points of smoke coming from where the grassy knoll was at, and those are lined up with shots that were taking place. So they probably had a pinpoint to fire at the same time, because people only said they heard 3 shots, and plus there was only 3 casings where Lee Harvey was at.
Yeah, okay.
So you could just kind of line it up. Plus the whole thing with John Connolly saying that shot 2 allegedly was probably more than just one shot. The one that nicked Kennedy in, like, the neck, I believe. And then it hit him and then went out of him and, like, into his leg.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. you know, maybe, but I find that hard to believe.
It definitely goes deeper than just some guy trying to kill the president.
Yeah, because, like, people, the government, well, CIA and everybody, they even refer to the second shot, well, the claimed second shot, they call that the magic bullet. Because it's so hard to believe that all that would happen with one bullet, you know.
Uh-huh.
Pretty weird. I was also going to do, I think it's worth noting, I was going to research MLK, because I think there's some shady stuff there that I do know about. I thought this alone would take too long, but it's been 15 minutes, so I might have time to do that too. I honestly think that that's honestly more surprising, or more obvious, I guess the better term, more obvious than JFK. If you look into that, I guess we could discuss it a bit. I don't remember it all, though, so I don't feel it would be right.
Also, JFK, though, wasn't he, like, big into, like, disclosing information to the people?
Yeah.
Especially, like Area 51 stuff, and he just suspiciously is murdered. That's stuff the CIA is hiding, like, soon after.
Because he even said a few weeks, maybe a month or so before, hey, there's shady stuff going on in the government. Boom, dead, you know.
Yeah, like he was going to just release stuff to the public so everyone knew what was going on. And
yeah.
Oh, let's just get rid of him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
but the MLK thing, like, I only know is, like, wasn't he, like, or where he got shot, wasn't he, like, decently far into the, like, apartment he got shot in or hotel, whatever?
He was, like, on the balcony of the hotel.
Was he actually in the I thought he was, like, further in, so, like, the shot didn't make sense for it to come from somewhere.
He was on the balcony, but, like, the guy that shot him, I forget his name, but he was in a bathtub, like, across from him, because there was, like, a restaurant, and then above that was, like, a few rooms you could rent out. He rented out one of them, and it was at this really weird angle for it, and it'd be really hard to hit, allegedly at a weird angle. Really hard to hit him. Plus, I'm missing a few things. Plus, the window that he was shooting out of had trees in front of it. And the night after he died, the trees were cut down by police. Or maybe not police, but some people. I may be getting police wrong. And I'm skipping a few things. Like I said, I didn't research this.
Was it the night after?
It was like or it was.
I thought it was like right before.
It was right before. Sorry, yeah, that would have made more sense because this happened in like the afternoon, I believe.
Like it's almost like planned. Like
exactly. Or maybe it was one of the two. There was trees there at some point.
Makes sense. If it was before, it was planned. If it was after, it was to make it seem like that was definitely a killer. There's no chance it was someone else.
Yeah, I can't. It's one of the two. Either way, it was shady regardless. Plus, there's been notes of people seeing other people. I think. I'm sorry, I might be getting this wrong, but like running into the bushes and stuff going on. Shots coming from bushes from below, where this guy, like from below his window that he rented out. So I think he was just up there, and they had him hired, and it's like a fall guy, basically. There's probably like I'm sure there's more to it than that. Like I said, I thought this would have gone on for 20 minutes of just me reading stuff. So,
did you have anything else to say about like debunking the other theories for JFK?
JFK, not really. Yeah, is there any more I didn't bring up? I can't remember.
Not that I can think of. The only thing I really knew ahead of time was like the umbrella guy, and that was just like from years ago. Just random things I've heard.
So, did you know any of this stuff that aside from the umbrella man, did you know the other stuff that I brought up? Second shooter, I'm sure.
Not that I can think of, like, not really the facts, just, like, more like the overall story of it. I didn't really know, like, specifics of things.
Just one. Because I couldn't remember if I had discussed this with you or not. And then if I had, this made this pretty boring for you, I'm sure. But
no, you didn't, which was probably a good thing.
Yeah. That might have been why I didn't discuss with you. It was for this podcast. But
yeah.
I don't remember. Anyways, so if you don't have anything else to say, I think I'm done with it, probably.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's it for the podcast. Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. See you.